Welcome back to Tripping Over 60.
In this episode, we're going to bring you back to restorations here at Rittergut.
We've had a couple of big projects to deal with. One of them is the new water line and the heating system in the house.
Those are pretty important projects.
Yes.
We've also got some nifty artifacts that we've found, and we'd like to share them with you.
And we're going to take you on a trip to Leipzig, the second largest city in Saxony.
Won't you come with us? Anybody you know?
Hey, where'd that come from?
This is Fritz, our newest resident. He's our Rittergut kitty.
And the future star of upcoming episodes, I'm sure.
He's 2 months old, and he was Jim's birthday present to me. Thank you.
Hello, Fritz. Gonna wave? Welcome to Tripping Over 60.
We're Jim and Linda Ryan, a couple of baby boomers who've caught the travel bug.
Come with us on our adventure
as we move to Wilkau-hasslau, Germany, to begin a new life and a new dream. Rittergut is, well, old. It hadn't had water plumbed in it for at least 10 years.
So bringing water back to Rittergut was one of our first tasks. This is where they're going to auger underneath the street. They decided to try it that way instead of tearing up the street completely. They call it something like rocketing, and it's a vibrating tool that just works its way through with water and air pressure and drives a hole underneath the street to the other side where the water connection is. We'll see how it works out. It'll be nice to be able to do it this way and not rip up the street. Okay, the core man was out today and he cored this hole for the new water line. The wall is 32 inches thick. The outside is solid rock and it's lined with brick inside. And that is one of the reasons that this house is still standing as true and straight as it is. Okay, this is the core that came out of the wall that we had just looked at a few minutes ago. This is the exterior, it's solid rock. This is the interior, it's 2 layers of brick thick. We're missing one little piece here. I'm going to keep it as a souvenir because people who are not used to this kind of construction, especially from the US, would not believe the thickness. But here it is. This is how thick the foundation wall truly is.
Rittergut still had its old, large heating units, one in what is now our bedroom and one in what will be our dining room. Unfortunately, they don't work.
So this little guy took up space in our entryway while we sought a solution. Enter 18-year-old Tom.
So, Tom, what are you up to? What are you doing?
I'm destroying things.
What's the thing you're destroying?
It's an oven. An old oven is not working again.
Again?
Yeah, and we just carry him out.
Okay, great. Carry on.
Here we are. No what?
Just hit it again.
Here we are.
In the upper level, which is a storage room, people have asked, did we find any treasures when we were working on the house? To us, the treasure is the house itself. It has been all stripped out. We are, however, finding a few things, and we're setting them aside because what we want to do is several of the 10 rooms in the cellar will be used to display all of the items we find when we're done. One of the really nice items, it's a little bit rough condition, is the old child's goat cart. And we would love to be able to have a photograph of the children playing with it. Chances are it won't happen. Some of the other things we have found is newspapers that were put between the layers of linoleum. These are DDR newspapers. and people say, oh, nobody's interested. But the point is, DDR will never happen again. It came from 1945 to 1989, and just like occupied Japan, which now is very collectible items, that's going to happen again here. It takes about 25, 30 years, and we're at this point. There are some good collectible places here now showing just DDR items. So we're saving all of those things along with what we find in the dirt, in the rubble. We've got tools, a DDR light fixture, typical of the times, a DDR nightstand, the only piece of furniture in the house, more light fixtures, children's toys, bottles, cans, tools. So these are some of the things that we're saving for our little museum when we get into the basement. So we'll go down into the basement next and take a look around. This is our treasure so far. Now we are down in the basement. This is the original kitchen from 1900. Most of the tiles and everything are completely here. We found a few broken pieces that we will try to put back together and put back into their position. There's one big window here that needs some repairs. The rest of them has to have all of the window frames and everything built. Some of the items that we have found, which are going to be part of the display down here, old pins for shelving, hinges, latches. We kept this because it's part of a mailbox setup when there were 7 apartments here. So this is all from the DDR days. Again, people are throwing it away. This is one of the 2 washing machines that we found down here. This one is a little newer, maybe from the teens. This is the older of the 2. It is probably from the very early 1900s. Maybe it was here when the house was built. It's one of the new modern appliances of the day. Now, the interesting thing is that there is a story that Tom's uncle has relayed to us that during World War II there was a church in Berlin where they removed the stained glass windows, brought them to Rittergut, where they were kept for safe storage, and that supposedly they were hidden in the floorboards in the attic. So we thought about this and thought this does not make any sense. In time of war, the top of a building is the first thing that's going to get damaged. Soldiers use it for a vantage point for fighting. It gets hit with artillery fire, all types of bombings and things like that. So something as fragile as glass would not be put into an attic, in our opinion. And I did not see anything up there that would indicate that any of the floorboards had ever been disturbed. Plus, all of the floor joists are only about 30 inches apart. So even a panel from a large window would be wider than that. So that's just not practical. So we dismissed that, even though Tom, our good friend, wanted to start tearing up the attic floor. We said, no, Tom. We thought Leipzig would make a great weekend trip.
It is within Saxony, so we can travel on a Saxon cart for only €23 on a Saturday, and then the same to return on Sunday. On the way we saw these huge fields of rape. In the spring it makes everything just beautiful.
It's Saturday morning and we're in Leipzig main train station. This is a very large, very modern station. During World War II it was a major rail hub, so the town was heavily damaged by Allied bombers. It's been rebuilt.
Boy, has it been rebuilt.
As you can see, the train station has 2 levels of underground shopping with a big open area here. It is really modern and nice.
Well, we've just crossed over the street and we're turning around and we're looking back at the Hauptbahnhof, which is really enormous. Lots of people here. It's turning out to be a rather nice Saturday. Didn't look so great when we first left home. But now we're going to go ahead, we're going to walk ahead, we're going to try to find a TI to get a room for the night.
We'll check back with you when we're inside the city a little farther.
On the way, Jim popped into a courtyard and checked out the bloomins. As we wandered towards the city center, we enjoyed the nifty architecture, including the old town hall, which dates from the mid-16th century, and the Riki House from the early 1900s, which has a tasty little cafe on the ground floor.
We were surprised to see our bank, Commerce Bank.
We think they're doing pretty good for themselves with all that gold trim.
We're in the old city center here. It's Saturday. Apparently there's a couple of conventions here in town. So there's a lot of activity. A few minutes ago there were some children singing, but they seem to have stopped now. Oh, they're beginning again.
There were lots of people on bicycles, all heading in the same direction, so we followed. In a huge square, we found an annual bicycle rally, organized by the television station MDR. There were people and bikes everywhere. Hundreds of people, vendors with new crazy bikes, food, music pumping, very festive.
Here we are with more of the pedestrian area. Years ago, Europeans figured out to get the traffic out of the centers of these cities. They park, they come in, and it makes it very user-friendly.
Leipzig is a city designed with many passages. These interior streets have shopping and dining in them.
In addition to Jim's stop at the Brat stand in the Hauptbahnhof and lunch at Nordsee, we had dinner Saturday night at Auerbach's Keller. Auerbach's Keller is located in the Madler Passage. Built in 1912, it has 3 cellars, and it became known worldwide because Goethe mentioned it in his Faust poetry. Tasty food, okay prices.
We eventually tucked our tired, full bodies into bed at the pension that's located near the train station.
This is St. Nicholas. It's 2 o'clock. We're coming across to the square.
St. Nicholas Church is beautiful. It was built in the 12th century and is famous for 2 things. Johann Sebastian Bach worked here, and this was the site of peaceful anti-communist meetings in the late 1980s.
There's even a monument, the Nikolai Column, to commemorate the protest. Notice how the monument mimics the interior of the church design. There's been a church located on the site of St. Thomas since the 12th century.
The church is well known because Bach worked here as a cantor in the mid-1700s and is buried here. In addition to having beautiful glass windows, its statues are pristine and lifelike.
Leipzig is an exciting blend of the old and the new.
With monuments to remember the past, quaint alleyways to find a good meal, architecture to remind you of days gone by,
And even the manhole covers are works of art.
designed to impress a couple of American visitors from wilkau-hasslau.
We hope you've enjoyed seeing Rittergut begin to take shape.
Don't worry about these old heaters. After they're repaired, we'll be warm all winter long. We're going to take a little break from working on our cozy new German kitchen and visit Holland for a little next time.
So until then, I'm Jim,
I'm Linda.
and we're tripping over 60.
You did feed the cat, didn't you?
What cat?
Oh, no.